shoot. Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Now, I have to say, to start this off, that I hope everybody watching had an absolutely amazing Christmas and managed to get through New Year's Eve pretty unscathed. I know the party at Castle Moorlander this year was, it got quite ropey towards the end. Let's just say. So yes, I hope you all had a great Christmas and New Year's season. Now, what we are here today to look at is something that I really wanted to show you guys. The start of a new year, something that I've been wearing. I mean, as far as testing's concerned, there's certain items that when I test them out, they're very, very simple to test out, and that is just simply wearing something on a daily basis. And it's been something that's definitely, I mean, I'm talking about it as though it's some sort of surprise, but I know you can all see from the thumbnail that you know exactly what it is. And it is the Woodland Worker Jacket from Frahm. Now, I got in touch with Frahm, I think it was about 3, maybe 4 months ago. I'm sure if you go back through the videos, you'll be able to see when I started to wear this jacket. I'd seen them, I'd seen their jackets, I'd seen them about, I'd seen people wearing them, and I'd heard of the quality from the materials, etc., about them. So I started to look into them, I started to look into the website. There was some few little bits of information that I just didn't know, and part of me thought this is a company that I definitely like to work with. I like their ethos on life. I like their creator, Nick. Hands down, one of the most charismatic chaps that you need to check out on YouTube and Vimeo. So obviously when you finish this video, you need to check them out. But yeah, very, very, very charismatic chap. In fact, the whole team there, Nick, Daisy, all really, really nice people. There's some other things that we'll get into as well. You know, the charitable work that they do for mental health. A lot of other things, and I think a lot of things for me slotted into place that made me think this is a company that I'd like to help to get to be in people's minds more so for 2022. So what we'll do is, as I usually, I say turn the camera around, I'm pretty much going to just take a step back. But while I'm doing that, if at any point you do enjoy this content, please feel free to hit the like button and subscribe. That'll be amazing. But for now, let's take a closer look at the Woodland Workers Jacket. Okay, now I think before we start, it's probably useful for me to tell you my size and the size of this. We usually go into things like materials and then we get onto sort of measurements, but I think it's probably best to start on size and how well this fits me. So I'm 5'10", I have a 42-inch chest, a 36-inch waist. You know, it's just been Christmas. Mrs. Moorlander has been doing very well at feeding me up. So yeah, 42-inch chest. I'd say the length of my arms, especially when I go for a jacket, it's usually a regular size or regular length as far as arms is concerned. The fit on this is exactly how I'd expect it to be. Now, rather than going for a medium, there was a very close overlap for me between medium and large, and I decided to go for a large, mainly because as far as the jacket is concerned, it's fully lined, however there's no sort of insulation on this. So wearing it with just a shirt like this, you can go from your kind of maybe from 6 degrees to about 18 degrees, you know, you should be fine. This is all Celsius, of course. Whereas if you wanted to go down to maybe 0 degrees or freezing, then you really do need a layer underneath this. So for me, I went for the large. If you are looking at the large, they also do 2 versions. They do a large, which is a regular, but they also do a large, which is a long for taller people. So you get a longer body and longer arms. But I went for the large regular. I've tested, well, I say tested, as I've been wearing this, I've worn this with thick winter jumpers underneath, and it's been fine. It's not felt stretched. All of my movement is exactly how you'd want it from a jacket like this. Now, as far as actual fitting is concerned, you can definitely see, and when you have a look at the Frahm website, you can see on there that they have spent a lot of time and effort looking into the modern gentleman, the kind of size and proportions that a modern gentleman is. And although this is I suppose you could call an off-the-shelf jacket, it really does feel, it feels fitted. It does feel fitted, and it feels like it's genuinely been fitted for me. Now, a lot of that comes down to a lot of jacket, you know, you need to make sure you get the right size and everything. But you can definitely tell that there's been a lot of time and effort into the way that this jacket fits and just feels. It feels... I'm lost for words on how it feels, but it feels like a fitted jacket that was designed perfectly for me and my measurements. And although, you know, I've put on a little bit of timber over Christmas period, which should hopefully disappear in the next month or so, but you know, it still fits like a fitted jacket. So, like, as I say, you know, this should hopefully give you an idea from my measurements, and hopefully it may help for yours as well. But I'd always recommend, there is plenty of information on the Frahm website as far as sizes are concerned. The team at Frahm are super approachable. If you have any questions, you can email them, and they're great actually. They'll get back to you very quickly. So, as far as measurements, let's get on to materials and kind of not well up. That was not well up, but the kind of pride that is put into this really does. I don't know. There's a very British kind of. This is a British through and through jacket, and that all comes from the materials that are made in here. Now, the outer material is a waxed cotton. So they do have a few different jackets. There is a lighter field jacket, and with this being more of a, I mean, the other one is an outdoorsy one, but this is more of a tougher, hardier outdoor style jacket. It uses a heavier waxed material. Now, the wax material that is used on this comes from British Millerrain. If you know your waxed materials, hopefully you will have heard of British Millerrain. They really are the top. They are the zenith as far as on an international scene waxed fabrics goes. They've been making waxed materials now for nearly 150 years, since 1880, from a small town in the north of England called Rochdale, which is also where the former Queen of the Moorlands, my mum, was born. So let's hear it for the Rochdale Massive. There is a lot of pedigree that comes from the material in this. So much so, sorry, I forgot which side it was on, but so much so, similar to a Harris tweed you get with the Millerrain, you get the badge, or you know, this on the inside, which really does go to prove the quality and that stamp of quality that you get from Millerrain. It's a very nice, it's quite a heavy fabric. Now, I say heavy in the fact that for a jacket this size, it's not a full length jacket that goes down to my knees. It's a waist length jacket, but it has a good weight to it. It has a nice kind of blanketed kind of weight that just, I don't know. My nan always used to say, you know, if you pick something up and it feels heavy, then you know it's good quality. And you get that with this. There is a very nice kind of heft and weight to this, which it's great. The wax material that it uses, rather than it being the old school wax where you'll have to reapply wax to make sure that it stays water resistant, the material on this is a waxed material that waxed cotton material that you can wash, and after several washes it will still retain that waxed coating to it and will still be waterproof. Now, as far as waterproofing is concerned, on an anecdotal level, rather than, you know, this is what you can read on the website. So for the Moorlander Christmas do, I went out on this and instead of getting a taxi back from the village, I decided to walk home from the village and got absolutely soaked from the waist down and just the top of my head. This has done an incredibly good job. I certainly didn't mean to test it to that level, but it did get tested and it kept me completely dry all the way home. On another point, I bumped into a young lady whilst in a pub in the village. I got an entire pint down my arm. No residue, just kind of brushed it off, apologised. I bought the young lady another drink again, but it's not left any sort of residue or anything on here. It just completely beaded off and did exactly what you'd expect from a wax jacket. And you, like I say, I don't want to overgild the lily on this, but I highly recommend, if you don't know who British Miller are, then you definitely need to check them out so that you can see the quality and the heritage that comes from these materials. But it doesn't really just stop there. The devotion to the materials from Frahm continues to other levels. From the buttons on here, rather than just being your standard off-the-shelf buttons, all of these buttons are ram's horn buttons that have a really nice kind of brushed silky feel to them. On the pockets here, which we'll have a look at in a minute, so on the pockets, again, rather than just going to a haberdashery and picking up standard kind of poppers, these are Italian stainless steel poppers which have an incredibly tactile pop to them, which makes them very secure when they're on there. Which, to add to, which we'll touch on a little bit at the end as far as the order process when you want to purchase one of these, they are updating these poppers next year. I put who's going to be making them here, but they are a popper. They are the company that is used by a lot of the British militaries to make sure that they are incredibly well wearing. So there is going to be a batch next year which will have some of those on there, and you know there'll be a thing on your jacket so that you know which batch that they're from. The zipper, so there is just one zipper. All of the buttons to the front here is it has buttons all the way down the front. There's just the one zipper, and the zipper is here on this chest pocket, so it's a YKK zipper, one of the stainless steel YKK zippers. Very, very, very nice. Now that's just the outside. So on the inside we have this really nice brushed cotton red and blue check tartan, which goes through all the way through the inside, down the arms. Oh, sorry. On the inside of the arms, there is a velvet liner, and then you have it on the cuffs here. Each of the cuffs, hopefully if you can see, there are 2 buttons on each of the cuffs, so if you want to have it so that you can just keep it so maybe you're in a formal environment, or maybe if you're out and about and you want to cinch it up because you know it's raining or whatever, then you can do that. Personally, you know, call me uncouth, but I like to keep them open. I like to have my hands so that they're 100% free. But it sits, for me, it sits and it rides slightly just above the knuckle. Now, I do find that the arms on this are just slightly long. Now, I say slightly long. I broke my collarbone, so my right arm is about an inch shorter than my left arm. That's my fault, that's not the jacket's fault. But they're designed in such a way that if you wanted to, you can roll up the sleeves and have the sleeves up, which is mainly down to just that slightly longer than you'd get. However, again, I think I'm overgilding the lily on this one. They're not particularly long for me they're just right, and they sit just right when I'm wearing this jacket. So that's through the outside. Now let's actually get into the details. We've looked at the materials, but let's have a look at the jacket itself. So there's some people just walking in my woods over there. So on the front here you have the typical 4-pocket design, which is actually 6 pockets. So on the left hand side, my left hand side here, there is that zip pocket. So as I unzip this, there is a really nice reinforced line section here to this pocket. The pocket itself isn't lined, however you have on the inside the actual face of the jacket front there, and then you've got the material for the back there. You also have a wind hood over this, which will deflect any rain away from that YKK zipper. On the opposite side you have a button pocket, which I'm obviously struggling with here, mainly because I'm trying to do this on video, but the button pocket, as you can see, goes down to there. So if you did want to keep anything in that you can put your hands into that. The 2 pockets further down, which are the same on each side, which are a good size. So you have those poppers which open up so that you can reach your hand into the pockets if you want to have something in there like that. What I have in mind, there is a spare button on there. Actually, let's skip a bit. So when we're talking about button, no, let's go back, let's finish the pockets off. Let's do this properly, Moorlander. So you have your 2 pockets, you can have top access onto those. Poppers really nice and easy to snap back, and as I say, you get a really nice kind of tactile positive engagement when those poppers go on. But then you also have the lateral pockets that you can put your hands into if you want to put them that way. See, these, I always think of my granddad on the farm when I think of these. You know, these are your shooter style pockets, whereas these are, I suppose, your more conventional nowadays fashion style pockets. But you have both options there if you choose to use them. Now, I've already mentioned the ram's horn buttons on these, but all of the stitching throughout this jacket uses either double or triple woven thread to make sure that it is as tough as possible. So the buttons are stitched on. Now you do get, as I mentioned, you know, in this pocket there is an extra button that you get, but I think that's more of a gesture of goodwill, mainly because the quality of the way in which these buttons are attached, they all have that triple woven thread on there. They're then stitched in. You then have the I'm not sure what it's called, the threaded behind, but then on the inside, hopefully you can see here, all of the buttons on the face also have button reinforcements on the back as well, which again, it's these little details that you get from a jacket like this that you can see how much work and dedication the Frahm team have put into this. So it's great that you get an extra button. However, I really don't see, unless one of these gets physically ripped off, that any of these buttons will be coming off. On the inside you have a pocket on this side, so this is a simple slip pocket that you can reach straight into. I actually prefer the pockets to be down here, mainly because when you want to get in, I find that that's an easier movement than trying to get in that way. So these are great if you want to be able to slip a mobile phone into there, you can get that. But here, so on this side you have the Frahm information. There is some washing information on there, how it can be stored, and so on and so forth. On the opposite side there is then a buttoned pocket, which again I'm only struggling with because I've done this several times, and it's because I'm doing it on video. But there you have a buttoned slip pocket, and you have the British Millerain seal of approval badge on there as well. The back of the jacket has the classic single yoke, and then going down from there it has 3 panels which go across the jacket, and then here down at the bottom you'll see that there is some venting there just to help out. Now, I've not really touched on the arms, mainly because I've mentioned the cuffs. The cuffs have these really nice reinforced cuffs, and they also have that tartan lining on the inside. But again, just getting back to these, where is it now? These extra details and the way in which it fits really nicely. So you can see that there is some extra flaring here on the elbows, so that when your arm is in there, it feels like it's in a natural position. So rather than when you have it on, you get that kind of bulging on the inside of your elbows, because the material here is bending. It's actually already got a natural bend to the arms, so that it's more of a natural shape. The material, I'm getting off on this one, but the material itself, so if you're familiar with wax jackets, you'll often find that when you put a waxed jacket down, especially when it's just been reproofed, you'll find that you'll get creases in them. I've not found any creasing in this whatsoever. In the arm section here, which is, it's a section that gets bent quite a lot, you'll find minimal creasing, but it just doesn't show. The quality of this material really is kind of, well, not kind of, but it is world leading. It's British millirain. So there you go. I can definitely say, testing this out, and I say testing, like I said earlier, testing for this is incredibly easy, because it's just a simple case of wearing it. And I can definitely say, with my hand on my heart, that this one jacket has had more people asking me about this jacket, or just simple comments when I've been out, people saying that it's a great jacket and asking me about it. And it's easy to see why, from the quality of the materials that are in there. This is a jacket that will last you a very long time, and as part of that, Frahm are dedicated to their jackets, and they all come with a lifetime faults guarantee with them. So if you have any issues with it, you can get on the phone to them, send them an email, and they will sort everything out for you. This is a high-end jacket, and it's definitely something that I've just kind of felt nice wearing. I know it. Every now and again it's nice to put on a nice shirt and a nice blouse, or no, that's a different video, isn't it? But it's nice to put something on that makes you feel good, and I certainly find this with this. Now it's important for me to talk about how these are ordered, because Frahm are a small business. Rather than being a business with millions behind them to have stores of material, they do a small batch kind of setup, and everything, as I'm sure you're aware, everything that comes in small batches is best. Small batch whiskey, small batch gin, generally small batches of alcohol, but they have a very similar way for this. So rather than, again, having all of that material that they need to then be able to purchase up front, so Frahm open up their order books for all of the jackets when the jackets have been purchased, and they do add a small percentage extra. They know that from experience, rather than making an X amount of all of the jackets, what opening their order books up early allows them to do is it allows them to be able to see what styles, what colours and what sizes are more popular. So they will then make extra of the more popular colours and sizes and styles. But they'll also make some extras from all of the other jackets. So if you're worried about wanting to purchase one of these and their order books being closed, then that's fine, because they still make extra ones. Doing this in a small batch setup allows them to focus more time on the styles, to focus on the materials, to focus on all of the other little bits that you can tell is being thrown into these jackets. And for a small company and the dedication that you get from this, to have this unique small batch setup in the way that you order them actually makes it really nice, because you put in your order and then it takes roughly a year for the orders to go in. I think it was about 3 months for their order books, was it 3 weeks? I'll put it here. For their order books to be opened and them to start taking the orders, and then through the year you'll receive it later on in the year once they've all been made. And for me, it's a different way, and this is something that I wanted to make sure that I put across in this. It's a different way of purchasing things, you know. A lot of things, we go onto the internet, you order it, and it's there in a few days. This changes that, and I think it actually makes it just a little bit more special, because it's something that is being made behind the scenes. And plus, if you order with them when their order books first open, you get 20% discount, because they're purchasing all of the materials to make your jackets, whereas if you're purchasing at the end, then you do pay full price for them. Now, I did mention this at the beginning of this content, and that is when I started to look into Frahm, you know, as I mentioned, you know, I'd seen their jackets, I'd seen their company. It's one of the things that I'd learned about them that was just something that made me think, yeah, I'd like to help this company. I'd like to help them to promote kind of what they do. Full disclosure, I've not been paid. This isn't a sponsored piece of content. They did send me the jacket, however, they've certainly not given me any money to promote this at all. And that's the fact that they do a lot for Mind, which is a UK charity that does a lot for mental health. If you have a look at their blog, you'll be able to see that the team there, especially Nick, has suffered in the past with mental health, and as part of the, I've just forgotten the hashtag, I think it's hashtag show your pill. I think it's hashtag show your pill. Which is really trying to get the stigma away from talking, or at least the stigma that shouldn't be there for talking about mental health. Now, if you're a lifelong fan of the channel, you know that I have had some struggles with mental health in the past. I'll leave a link at the end of this video where, you know, I made a video at a time when I found it hard to talk about it in more than one way. My mental health, when it takes a low, my speech is a barometer of how my mental health is doing. So, I mean, past that, so every single jacket that is sold or purchased through Frahm, they give £10 from every single jacket to Mind, as I say, which are a UK mental health charity that do a lot of work with people struggling with mental health. And if in any way, shape or form I can help them to promote their products to the work that they are doing with mental health, then I'm more than happy to do that. I think anybody willing to put part of their proceeds towards an amazing cause like mental health is certainly a company that needs to be shouted about. So there you go. That really was that extra little bit that I just wanted to talk about, because it's I know from talking to a lot of you guys through the comments here, I know mental health is something that you struggled a lot with, and I know specifically a few people that have seen me wearing this and have looked into them themselves have also seen that is an admirable thing that they are doing. So yeah, so now I will leave all of their links below here so that you can see more from Frahm, you can see their website. I wholeheartedly recommend you check out Nick's blogs. They are incredibly funny, written in the really dark, dry humour that you expect here in these green and fair British Isles. Yeah, he's definitely a very charismatic chap. So yeah, all of their links will be here. Please definitely check them out, see the amazing work that they're doing. There'll also be their social media links here. There'll be my social media links here. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I've forgotten, because there is a lot to talk about with this jacket, and I don't think there is. Normally at this point I do. Is there anything else that I'd, anything that I'd possibly change? No. It's an absolutely beautiful jacket. It's the usual YouTube stuff. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share. That would be absolutely amazing. I'd like to wish everybody an amazing 2022. Don't forget, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. There's an absolutely beautiful sunset over there. What a beautiful day. I hope it's not too dark. Is it too dark? Can you still see my face? Yeah, look at that. Yay. That's a handsome chap, isn't it?